We are now in section 3.3. We're going to take what we did in the last two sections in that last video, and we're going to add one extra step. What happens when you have equations with variables on both sides? So let's put in that one extra step. Here are the steps for solving multi-step equations from the video you watched last. Right after step 3, we are going to insert another step. And that's going to be step 4, our new step 4. Step 4 will become step 5, and step 5 will become step 6. So step 4 is going to be get the variable on one side. Here's how that works. So let me take an equation. 6x minus 2 equals x plus 13. Now, if you're looking at this and following the steps, step 1, clear the equation of fractions. We don't have any. Remove parentheses and grouping symbols. We don't have any. Combine like terms on each side. Now we have this, 6x minus 2. I can't do anything there. And x plus 13. I can't do anything there. Here is the one thing I don't want you ever to do. Do not ever take this 6x here and this x right here and tell me that that should be 7x. They are across the equal sign. Therefore, it's like illegal. You can't do it. So you have to get the variable onto one side. So you either have to take this 6x, move it to the right, or take this 1x and move it to the left. It's up to you what you want to do, but you either have to add or subtract. That's it. If it's add, then you subtract it to the other side. If it's a negative, then you add it to the other side. So I'm going to move the x. The opposite of plus x, since right here that's a plus x, is minus x. So I'm going to subtract x on both sides. So 6x minus 1x, that gives me 5x minus 2 equals 13. And then you follow this as a normal two-step equation. I add 2 to both sides, which gives me 5x equals 15. I divide by 5, and my answer is x equals 3. Example number 1. I want you to solve each equation. So let's do this together. 2n minus 5 equals 8n plus 7. Step 1 is get rid of fractions. I don't have any. Step 2 is get rid of parentheses or grouping symbols. I don't have any. Step 3 is combine like terms. I can't do that. So step 4, move the variable on one side. Here's your hint. If you move the smallest coefficient, 2 or 8, 2 is going to be easier to move. Now, it's completely up to you what you want to do. If you want to do the opposite of plus 2 and subtract 2n on both sides, you can. The opposite of plus 8n is minus 8n, so you could subtract 8n. I'm going to subtract 2n on both sides. That leaves me with negative 5 equals 6n plus 7. Subtract 7. That gives me negative 12 equals 6n. Divide both sides by 6. My answer is n equals negative 2. Let's try another example. 8 minus x equals 5x. Move the variable on one side. So I'm going to move the minus x by adding 1x on both sides, because the opposite of minus x is plus x. Remember, you always do inverse operations. So that gives me 8 equals 5x plus 1x is 6x. Divide by 6. 8/6 simplifies into 4/3. Or you can change it to 1 1/3. Example number 2. Find the value of x. Well, this is a little different. We have a diagram. From prior classes, you should know that these two are vertical angles. Vertical angles mean they are equal, so you're going to set them equal to each other. 8x minus 21 equals 6x plus 3. We have to get the variable on one side, so I'm going to move the smaller coefficient, which is 6. So the opposite of plus 6x is minus 6x. That gives me 2x minus 21 equals 3. I add 21 on both sides, and everything else is just review. 2x equals 24. I then divide by 2. The value of x is going to be 12. Example number 3. You can buy used inline skates from your friend for 40 bucks. Or you can rent some for $3.50 per hour, which include the safety equipment. Safety equipment is $1.50 per hour. Either way, you must rent the safety equipment. How many hours must you skate for the cost of renting and buying the skates to be the same? All right, so let's start by what we need to figure out. We have to figure out how many hours. So if you ever get confused on where to start, always define your variable. X is the number of hours. Whenever you see the word hours, you're going to plug in an X. So we want to know when the cost of renting and the cost of buying would be the same. So we know that renting has to equal buying. So how much does it cost to buy skates? You can buy them from your friend for 40 bucks. So it's going to be $40 to buy, but that doesn't include rental. How much does the rental of safety equipment cost? It's $1.50. Is it just $1.50? It's $1.50 per hour. So that'd be $1.50 X. Equals the cost of renting. How much does it cost to rent? $3.50 per hour. So there's my equation. $3.50 X, or 3.5X, equals 40 plus 1.5X. There are no parentheses, there are no fractions, so we're going to get the variable on one side. I'm going to move the plus 1.5X by subtracting 1.5X. 3.5 minus 1.5 is 2X equals 40. X equals 20. So answer the question. You got to be precise and label. How many hours must you skate? It'd be 20 hours. Now there are special cases when you're solving equations. The book's going to call it identity. We're going to call it infinitely many solutions. So infinitely many solutions means you have many solutions. No solution means there is no solution. So let's start off with two examples and see what happens. Example number 4. We're just going to solve the equation for A. Step 1, get rid of the parentheses. So this is going to be 10 minus 8A. Distribute 10 minus 8A. Right off the bat, you should notice something. These two equations are identical. But let's keep going. I have to move either the negative 8a on the left or the negative 8a on the right. What's the opposite of minus 8a? We're going to add 8a to both sides. So that gives me 10 equals 10. Notice what happens. Whenever a letter or the variables cancel completely, you're going to get one of two answers. No solution or infinitely many solutions. If what you have is a true statement, 10 equals 10. Well, yes, 10 equals 10. So this is true. Therefore, there is an infinite amount of solutions, which means you can write many solutions as your answer. Now here's what that means. Whatever you plug in for A is going to be true. You could plug in any number you want for A, it's going to make that equation true. Therefore, everything works. Now you can write many solutions as your answer, but there's a symbol that you can write that means many solutions. It's called all real numbers. All real numbers means that every number you would pick, every one of them, all of them, would be true. Now the reason why it's called all real numbers is because later in math you'll learn that there are imaginary numbers, so we have to say real. There's your symbol for all real numbers. So either one of these, many solutions or infinitely many solutions, or all real numbers would be a correct answer. Let's try another one, number 5. 6m minus 5 equals 7m m plus 7 minus m. Step 1, what should we do? Combine like terms. We don't move anything yet. I have 7m minus 1m. They're on the same side. 7m minus 1m gives me 6m plus 7. The next step, move the letters. We have to get the variable on one side, so I'm going to subtract 6m. They're gone. Negative 5 equals 7. Does negative 5 equal 7? That is not true. Negative 5 is not equal to 7. Therefore, this has no solution. There is no value of m that would make this equation true. So you can write no solution, or this is also called empty set. Empty set means there's no solution in that set that would make this true. Either one of these answers would be acceptable. Examples 6 and 7, why don't you write them down, pause the video, and see if you did them right. If you solved each of them, the first one, distribute, move the minus 4y over, you're going to get 4 equals 4, which means this is true. Your answer is all real numbers or infinitely many. Number 7, you're going to get 8 is not equal to 10, two numbers that are not equal. Therefore, your answer is no solution, or you can put down empty set.